Welcome, creatures of the universe. This is the Topshelfers Podcast, bringing you the weird, the crazy, the exciting stories of the internet. My name is Wesley McBee, and with me always, the man, the myth, the legend, Forrest Curtis.
Alright, welcome guys and girls and all the non-binary individuals out there. Don't want to exclude you. Welcome to episode 1 of the Topshelfers Podcast. Here with me is Mr. Wesley in episode 1, so we'll give a little background explanation of how each episode's going to play out, so I'll let him tell you.
What's up, people? We're just going to go ahead and jump right into our first topic. Basically, the idea we have is we're each going to bring a different topic every single week, but we don't know what we're going to bring. And these topics are going to range from aliens to murder mysteries to just weird shit that we find that just doesn't seem normal. And, you know, we talk about this stuff in our day-to-day lives all the time, so we figure, you know, we're blowing each other's mind all the time. So I can't imagine everyone else doesn't want to have their mind blown, right? I mean, that's kind of the whole idea here. Yeah. So we're going to hop right into it. Forrest got our first topic, and it's going to be a wild one.
Alrighty, so I was just looking on the internet, looking for some crazy conspiracy theories, and I think I found a pretty crazy one here, and I found it on the website blackbag.gawker.com.
Sounds legit.
And these guys are actually talking about a conspiracy that started up on a different website. It's a well-aware with the number 1.com. And what these crazy individuals think is that Robert Kardashian is actually secretly Ted Cruz.
Oh my god.
He never actually died. They're thinking of cancer. And then he changed into Ted Cruz for his political career.
Wait a second. So you're telling me that Robert Kardashian is Ted Cruz and Ted Cruz is also the fucking Zodiac Killer?
Yeah, pretty much.
Whew, what a wild life that man is living.
But not only that, they think his wife is actually Anna Gasteyer. I guess that's how you say her name. Sorry if I'm murdering that. But from Saturday Night Live, they think that's who his wife is. So they're both not actually Ted Cruz and his wife.
Oh my god. So he's showing me a picture right now that is wild. So they both look identical, the wives, Ted Cruz's wife and the lady from Saturday Night Live.
And it gets even better. So this is this guy's main proof, and it's a picture of Rob Kardashian Jr. with his grandfather, and then it shows shows Ted Cruz and his father, and that's how their evidence. They think that the two fathers look the same, and that's his evidence for how Ted Cruz is actually Robert Kardashian.
So we're gonna have to link this picture up on up so everyone can see it. It is wild how much these two resemble each other.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So what is it that they're saying like would be the point of it?
They don't really get into that. What they say here on this website is he's not too far into his conspiracy about this yet because he's too busy exposing other individuals, like celebrities or that are died and became political figures. We'll get into that a little bit later, but there's all sorts of crazy stuff here.
So basically, do you think it's kind of like putting a reset on your life? Because I know a lot of people talk about wanting to kind of go back and do things different. So maybe with so much wealth and power that they have, that is actually a feasible option.
Right, like Rob Kardashian got sick of getting shit from the OJ trial. He's like, fuck it, I'm just going to become Ted Cruz now.
And just go a whole different path. Don't even have to associate with my family at all, which,
yeah.
I mean, I don't fucking blame them. No one wants to associate with those people anyways.
Oh, God, yeah, the whole family's crazy.
But then becomes a political power that almost became president if he didn't fucking kill people on his side job being the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah, it's fucking true Zodiac. Ted Cruz is secretly Rob Kardashian, so there you go, there's that.
That is wild.
Yeah, and it gets better. So there's this guy that commented on the website, which makes it just as good. And his name is Jamberg. And what he says is, Robert Kardashian never died. Like many powerful and famous people, he was merely tapped by the Illuminati to join the High Council along with Tupac, Michael Jackson, Steve Jobs, and others. The Illuminati made the decision to replace Robert and Antoine Scalia, or if that's how you say that. So they're reprogrammed to be presidential candidate Ted Cruz to further the Illuminati's grasp on the country and the world markets. And then he says, I 100% believe this.
Wow, so that guy is living in a whole different fucking planet than most people.
He's got some beliefs. Probably one of these people that believes the Earth is flat, is on a...
I mean, Forrest, have you ever, been up in the space to prove that the Earth isn't flat? I mean, I've never watched the edge of the Earth, but at the same time, I've never went around the Earth, so I mean... I think me and some of these other rappers in the game now need to hang out because, I mean, obviously the Earth is not round.
Right. Did you see Elon Musk was trolling him? He posted on Twitter to the Flat Earth Society, said, if there's a Flat Earth Society, why is there no Flat Mars Society? And they replied with, because we observed Mars to not be flat.
Oh.
So they think that the other planets are round, but for some reason, Earth is just a flat... celestial body just flown through the universe. Actually, they think Earth is the center of the universe, so...
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, obviously, because they're also the center of the universe, because they need that kind of attention.
Like, they must be reading books from different centuries if they still believe that.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's just one of those things where they take their dying career, and they just have to do something crazy to get back into the news, because, I mean, when's the last time we heard about some of these rappers that have been talking about Flat Earth since, 2005?
B.O.B.?
Yeah. It's been a while since I've heard that Airplane song, B.O.B., but I'm hearing in the news all the time about some Flat Earth shit.
Right, or Scientology. It's another crazy one.
Hey, man, don't cut down Tom Cruise while I'm here.
Tom Cruise and, I believe the guy from That 70s Show, Hyde is his name. I think he's a Scientologist, too.
Oh, wow.
He just got fired off his Netflix show for rape allegations.
Wait, so you want to know something funny to add to this? If Hyde is also a Scientologist, you know who else is?
Who?
The girl from That 70s Show who's also in Orange is the New Black.
Oh, yeah.
The redhead girl. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Sure. But she's also a Scientologist, which is kind of weird that you got two people from the same, show going into this crazy... I don't even know what you want to call Scientology nowadays, but...
Fucking weird.
Yeah, it's that's a whole interesting subject to get into. Maybe that needs to be a topic for one of our nights where we try and dive down into Scientology. I know a Scientologist in real life.
We could do a whole episode or a couple episodes, different religions. I think here in Utah, we got a good one here, the Mormon Church. We got some...
Living out here in Utah, we got the biggest fucking strange atmosphere to live by. I mean, it's gotten better over the last couple of years, but everyone's too happy, and you shouldn't be that happy all the time.
That's what happens when you're constantly stuffing your face with opiates.
Oh,
get your oxys.
Oh, yeah, it just gets wild. All the moms and everybody just kind of like, you know what, I gotta spice this shit up a little because I'm fucking miserable.
They're popping pills, and we're the druggies.
Yeah, right.
With our brews and marijuanas.
Yeah, injecting the weeds into our main veins.
Yes,
But yeah, no, I met this girl. Actually, you know her. I'm going to leave her unnamed, but you know who she is. She's a Scientologist, and I heard a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I heard a little bit talking to her, and that shit was wild. Like, she was telling me how her dad was, getting big into it, and then they sent her sister out to California, and they haven't talked to her for, 2 years now. But she's doing, really good Scientology work, apparently. What does that even mean?
Being out of your fucking mind, that's what...
I don't understand what Scientology work means.
Are
you out there trying to get more people to convert to your thing?
They came out that documentary not too long ago. Get super deep into it. They had a team of 100 lawyers or something like that.
Oh.
We'll have to... When we do a Scientology episode, we'll definitely post that up.
That one, because that... Yeah, that's a whole entire world that I don't quite understand where the thought process is.
Right.
But I mean, at the same time,
the dude wrote more fiction books than anyone in history combined. So every writer or every person, like writer combined, he's written more fiction books than every fiction writer combined. And yet somehow they still believe.
this one just took off.
Yeah.
This is the one that everyone was like, oh, this is some good shit. This is the one that fucking creates a whole entire following. I don't want to say cult, but you know.
Right? Yeah,
I mean, everyone gets mad when that word gets used, but you know, if we're going to call it a cult following, I mean, it pretty much is.
right, like my cousin just left for her mission just recently, and my brother was telling me, like, when they showed up, he's like, it was just a cult. They're all just lined up in their dresses and, hello, sister. Welcome, sister.
Oh.
That's a cult if I've ever heard one.
Right? They got to change, like, I don't even know. It's like they take your thoughts and you just don't have them anymore. There's no more free thinking. You have to think is that mob mentality. A lot of people are talking about how the mob mentality is never good. But that's 100% what it is. Right. You go there and everyone's in the same mentality. So you're just acting as one big mob, pretty much.
And it's crazy. They think like normal emotions. Like everyone has dark thoughts from now and again. Like, it's Satan. Satan trying to get in my head.
Right. You can't masturbate. If I didn't masturbate for fucking like 2 years now, I'd probably blow up the fucking world. I mean, you tell me more people don't get sexually frustrated?
Yeah, no blowing your seed into anything that's not a woman.
And especially if you're not married. That is like the biggest one. If you're not married to her and you blow your seed in her, you're fucking going straight to hell.
Right. One of my favorites is, I'll have to look it up, Corinthians 14:34, I believe it is. Oh. And it's, no, I don't know the exact, but it's just women are not allowed to speak in church ever. And they have to hold their tongue in church. And if they have questions, they have to wait till they get home and ask their husband. That one's pretty fucking hilarious. It'd be funny to go to church and just...
Hey, you shut the fuck up.
Woman!
Now's not the time.
Hold thy tongue, bitch.
Now, before everyone gets mad thinking that we're, you know, sexist, that's not it. We're not the ones who wrote the Bible.
No, this is fucking the Lord's words himself.
Because we live in 2017. Everyone's equal. But apparently, you know, some people also want to live in the, you know, 1700s still and not allow your women to talk in church. I don't even know if that still happens. You know, I don't go to church. Yeah. I've been to a church a couple times, and they talk a lot. I mean, it's very...
Oh, they sure do.
It's interesting what they say, and a lot of interesting emotions. I don't want to get into that, but...
Singing songs.
Yeah. My best experience with a church ever was wild. It was a Christian Baptist church.
Okay.
It was fucking lit. Everyone singing songs, everyone getting buck wild. People were dancing up and down the fucking aisle, just going crazy. I'm like, this is what people go to church for, right? Not to hear sad shit.
Yeah.
They're getting fucking lit on Sunday morning.
If I can go to church and have me a nice glass of wine,
right?
Maybe I'd feel a little spirit, maybe a little more.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little woke, as they'd like to say. Start feeling the God's rays coming down. I'll start dancing too, fuck.
Seriously, I used to... When our friends would go on our missions, I would just sit there and I'd pull up porn and be like, check this out, John. Playing porn in church. So if hell's real, I mean, I'll see you guys there.
Hey, yeah, I mean, you got fucking front row seats to hell.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, if you guys are PC, you should probably turn this shit off right now.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
You're a retarded cuck.
Yeah, so. I mean... That should be the banner. No cucks allowed.
No retards or cucks allowed.
Yeah. I mean, if you like beta shit, there's other podcasts for you.
And you fucking betas.
Yeah. Last time I fucking talked to a beta was never no betas around in my life.
Oh, I heard the best, my new favorite insult. Who's the guy that's, he did the Man Show for a little bit with Joe Rogan?
I'm not sure.
I'd have to look it up, but he said, you fucking stooge.
Stooge? Oh, that's a good one. I want to bring back schmuck, dude.
Schmuckos. That's a good one.
Something about, like, if someone looked at me straight dead in the eyes and was like, you're a fucking schmuck, I'd be pretty upset.
Yeah, that's an insult there.
I mean, because cunt doesn't really have much power anymore.
No, the ones I hate is, like, Bud, Chief, Boss.
Yeah, well, I mean, if someone looks me and calls me bud, I mean, they're gonna get hit.
Oh, come here, bud. It's always the dudes at the gas station or your fucking waiter.
Right.
What are you having tonight, chief?
Yeah. There's two people in the world who can call you bud, or you can call bud. Your dad can call you bud. You can call your dog bud. Anything else is just disrespectful.
Fucked up. Yeah, if you want to talk about, what are we going to do? Talk about aliens now?
Oh, yeah. So the topic that I have this week is an interesting one. Obviously, I have a fascination with aliens. I always have. I've had some experiences myself. Nothing crazy. I don't want anyone to think that, I'm on this high level of, like, being abducted. Nothing like that. I've seen some stuff that I couldn't necessarily explain, but that doesn't mean that, it's an alien or it's this, object of carrying alien life. Nothing like that.
We'll probably talk about it later in a different episode, going out to different places we've been, Dugway, Skinwalker Ranch. We have a picture we'll have to post up on one of our social medias for you guys that we took of the video of what looks to be some sort of extraterrestrial being.
Yeah, it's the wildest thing. Like, we've gone, I can't even count now. We've probably been to 100 different trips over the past 4 or 5 years to different locations. And in reality, we haven't seen much.
No.
We really always hope that we go somewhere and see something, but in reality, it's us sitting in a car for 5-6 hours freezing our ass off. Because we always do it in the winter, because for some reason, cold weather and spooky shit just go together.
That's right. As soon as Halloween comes around, we get back in that mood. Want to start going crazy for crazy shit. But
one time, we went out to Skinwalker Ranch. I'm going to go on this little tangent, but we don't want to tell the whole story yet. We'll save that for later. Let's just say we saw something. We saw a light that appeared, and then we kind of didn't know what to do, so we were in the car and we reversed, and the video we were recording it, we have a video of it. There's something on the video when freeze framed doesn't look right.
Yeah, there's.
And I'll just leave it at that. I'll get your curiosity piqued a little bit. We'll talk about that some other time. We'll give you the pictures. We have all the pictures, non-edited. We don't do that kind of shit. We just want to find it. We want to find stuff too. That's why, we talk about it. We want to bring more people, to light and feeling more comfortable talking about these weird things, because there's weird shit going on everywhere. But my topic basically goes into Maine, the state of Maine. Ooh.
Yeah. By the way, guys, if you're listening, join us. Crack a nice cold one.
Yeah, just get right into it. It's never a bad time.
This is the Topshelfers Podcast, so we got smoke up, drink up, just sit back and listen.
We got that great American beer that's, a little shitty sometimes compared to other beer, but you know what? Gets the fucking job done. Right. But 1 second, I'm gonna take a nice sip of this.
Yeah, do that. Oh, sounded good.
Oh, it's so cold, it's so good. But out in the state of Maine recently, I was doing a little research. I just wanted to find something interesting. Since the start of 2015, they are one of the hottest spots for UFO activity. They used to be one of the lowest spots back from, the 1900s, 1950s, not much activity, and then spiked in the past 2 years, having almost 5,000 annual UFO sightings recorded.
That's weird. I wonder what's going on in Maine there.
Right, and that's one of the hottest spots in America and the whole entire world right now.
It's wild. I wonder what it is. But
in the research I'm doing, there's not anything that I can necessarily find that's like why Maine would be a hot spot. Why, unless there's something we don't know about, it's just Maine, Yeah. So I went on to the National UFO Reporting Center and went to Maine, and there are tons and tons and tons of legit reports that have been sent in of different individuals seeing these, different sightings. So I want to go through some of these most recent ones and just kind of get it out in the open and maybe have a discussion with my main man Forrest here. And also, if anyone else has any type of weird thing they've seen, even if it's not in Maine, we want to hear about it. We'll talk about it. We want to know what people are seeing out there, because there's something out there.
We will link our email account, and feel free to email us anything, ideas you might have, any topics we're talking about in the current episode, pictures, just email us.
Even if you're triggered at the fact that we called people cucks earlier, send it to us because we'll get a good laugh. You know, I mean, you're not going to easily offend these guys.
Send us whatever you have.
So the first one I want to go over was literally yesterday, 12/14, posted about noon. No, it would have been midnight, my bad. Around midnight in Ellsworth, Maine.
Okay.
So I'm going to go through this. Last night, on the night of December 13th, 2017, I saw an unidentified flying object. I was sitting on the couch when I happened to glance out my window. I see a triangle craft just above the trees. They worded that weird. I see a triangular craft just above the trees closeted to my apartment. It had 3 red lights and a blue light in the middle. It also made a loud noise, which I heard for a few minutes after I couldn't see it anymore. It must have flew above my apartment, but it was so close I thought it would hit our building. I was honestly pretty freaked out and didn't want to be alone, so I crawled into bed where my sleeping husband was. I was too scared to go to sleep, so I checked Facebook. The first post I saw, a friend posting about a meteor shower in my area. I thought, well, maybe it was a meteor shower. Makes sense. Then I get up to my bedroom window and look for meteors, and I do see about 5 falling meteors. That's when I see the second unidentified flying object, or maybe the same one. This time, I couldn't see a shape. I saw a red light and a blue light almost on top of each other. I didn't hear a noise. It looked smaller, and it was flying a distance away. It looked like it was flying through the middle of the tree line. It stayed in a straight line for a few minutes, then disappeared. It was now about 1 a.m., so the whole experience lasted around 10 minutes. The last thing I would like to mention is when my husband and I woke up the morning December 14th, 2017. I mentioned to him what I saw. He told me he remembers hearing a loud noise and figured it was a plane and went back to sleep.
Interesting. That is pretty wild.
So she saw,
Saw something.
And
definitely.
I've read a lot of articles where there's meteor showers where people see other things in the meteor shower. Now,
maybe it's whatever this object is coming into the atmosphere, breaking apart, or...
Yeah, and that's definitely... There's 2 routes you can go with this. You see a lot of articles where people go to meteor showers and think they see UFOs. Either there are UFOs and they're randomly attracted to these meteor showers, or people are just so excited with the meteor shower, they're thinking they see something weird. In reality, it's just a meteor that went in a weird direction.
Exactly. It is a little strange, though. She said it just sat there. Is that what she said?
Yeah, and saw 2 separate occasions of it. So, I personally, I've seen meteor showers.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell what it is.
Right? But...
It says it's a triangular shape, and 2 lights were on top of each other.
Yeah, that's a common one. The triangle shape. Seems to be more common. Seems like back in the 60s and 50s, when around Roswell, everything was a flying saucer, but recently it seems to be more triangle objects.
Yeah, something more almost bulky.
Yeah, a lot of people say they see 3 lights, triangle shape, and then they break apart.
Mm-hmm. And they can kind of all of them have a weird trajectory almost when they break apart. Yeah, I thought that one was interesting just because it was so recent. That was, like I said, 12/14/2017 was when this got posted to the UFO Reporting Center.
We'll have to, one of these times, see if we can reach out to some of these people, see if we can get them on here, Skype call, or at least even email us and see if we can have them tell their story in person.
Right, because there's so much, obviously me reading it, I don't do the best job at reading things out loud, but if you had someone on here who actually, this was their story,
exactly.
I'm going to try and email, some of these have potential links to who sent in the article, so maybe we can try and get in touch with them and get them on a Skype call.
We'll definitely do that. And if you guys have any UFO sightings,
stories, pictures,
email us. We'll get back in contact with you. Maybe we'll have you Skype in.
Yeah, we would love to have anyone on here that you have something that is unusual, even if it's not something to do with UFOs. If you have a story, anything,
paranormal, whatever you got.
Yeah. Even if you murder people and you think that's interesting, get on here and let's hear about it, because that'd be fucking wild.
Man, the next Zodiac, just
Right?
Comes out through our podcast, be pretty wild.
Yeah, next Ted Cruz comes on our podcast.
Yeah, fucking true Zodiac. Mr. Robert Kardashian.
The man, the fucking man, Robert Kardashian.
If we see him, now that the juice is loose, if we see Mr. Ted Cruz hanging out with OJ, maybe I'll start believing into your crazy fucking conspiracy here.
Oh, but wouldn't that be great? That would be the best thing ever if you just like happen to see Ted Cruz and the juice just fucking hanging out.
Or Ted Cruz has seen this conspiracy, so he just purposely hangs out with the OJ. But okay, sorry. Actually, just remembered, now that I'm thinking about it, these guys on Black Bag Gawkers, to get back a little bit, go off topic, they actually emailed Anna Gastier, if I'm probably murdering her name, but they actually emailed her to ask her about if she's Ted Cruz's wife with the conspiracy. So I just remember this now, so I will read her response to them. She responded, which is pretty cool. So she said, "On the record, I need to state that it is in fact me, but contrary to the article's assertion, I'm unfortunately faux married to the real Ted Cruz, not Kardashian as you state. I really wish it was a conspiracy, but it is a terrible reality for me, and it has been very difficult as I am angry all the time with my fake, smug husband, and I have to just smile and clap and sometimes touch him. It's super gross. Honestly, I'm incredibly relieved that the truth is finally out, so I can go home and take a long shower."
What the fuck?
So she actually responded to these guys telling her about the crazy conspiracy, which is pretty good.
Yeah, but that got super sad.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Someone needs to get her a glass of wine. She's fucking depressed.
Oh, that is funny. Yeah, go off topic. We get back to aliens now, but I just remembered that.
I love when people just go out of their way just to add to everything. Right. Yeah, back to the alien though. I mean, I'll go into this next one. This was in Norridge Walk, Maine. And this was just recent as well. This was November 22nd. Let me pull it up here. So it says, rectangle object with red and white light had a big white round. Man, the grammar for some of these people, not their strong point. Had a big white round light flash down toward us for a second. Okay. So that was kind of weird. So they actually have a light. They're saying they saw a light that went all the way down to the ground. Yeah. Out and back with my dog. It was amazingly clear night. I was gazing up and looking around when I suddenly realized that there were these red and white lights that were just sitting there. I looked and puzzled over it and then began to blink. The red lights were to the left and white to the right. As one red went off, a white light changed to a red. Okay. So if I'm reading that right, so one red light went off.
Also, the red light turned off. The white light became
changed to a red light. Okay. Then I realized they are attached to this flat surface, and it looked almost like a car hood in the starlight. Curved hood and a gray metal. I get my husband out and had left... I get my husband out, and it had left or moved, but we see it or another just behind some trees. Suddenly, as we were looking upward, there is a huge round flash of white light coming down, but it was gone in a second. Later that night, I looked out the back and see 4 large round lights, evenly spaced in a linear line. That's a little... I'm not going to make fun of them for that one. They just there, but... yeah, they just there, all right. But one singular was opposite them. Okay, I need to rethink this lady, what she's saying here. So suddenly as we are looking upward, there is this huge round flash of white light coming down, but it was gone in a second. So big white light. Later that night, so she left and came back. Okay. I looked out the back and see 4 large round lights evenly spaced in a linear line. So 4 lights in a line. Okay. They just there, but one singular light, is what I'm seeing here, was opposite them. So she tried to say there was 3 lights in a line, and then one was next to it. I think. Below, okay, so then below was a cluster of small ones that periodically would blink, all perfectly round. These were not stars in any shape. They were yelling. These were not stars in any shape of light format. No, witness elects to remain totally anonymous. Yeah, well.
Yeah,
I would remain anonymous too.
But they're probably missing teeth. Just did some fucking cracks. She's like, then these alien creatures came and took me inside. They made sweet and passionate love to me. Unlike Otis, my fucking goddamn bastard husband.
Yeah, fucking Otis never making love to his wife. Probably because she doesn't have many teeth.
I'm surprised him to have like a comma, spits chew.
Alright, so that one was a little interesting. I mean, like we said though, I mean that rectangular object, triangle object, kind of got a little weird pattern going on there.
God, I want to believe in these aliens so much, but then these fucking assholes come in with their bad grammar.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not doing it justice. I fucking talk like I'm dyslexic half the time.
No.
But I was reading it word for word, and it didn't sound too good. So jumping to the next one, this was in Tremont, and this was on November 17th.
Okay.
So a couple days before this last inbred posted theirs. So let's go into this one. Object was first noticed low in the southeast sky just over the tree line. It looked to be about on the coastline between Southwest Harbor and the seawall, several miles from where we were. We first thought it was a jet approaching from over the ocean. After several minutes, it hadn't changed location apparently, or I don't know what that word's supposed to be. It hasn't changed location, and we paid close attention to it. It was far enough away not to be able to count, but it had several very bright lights, cobalt blue, red and white, so they're looking through binoculars now. It was an oblong, angular shape. Most like a chevron?
Wait, like a chevron? Like the chevron logo? Or is there a chevron shape?
Most like a chevron. So it was an oblong, angular shape, most like a chevron.
Let's look up chevron.
So while he's looking that up, I'm going to go back into it. It definitely moved a bit in the sky, making us think it might be a weather balloon, but it didn't have any apparent mass. That's kind of interesting. About me and Forrest were talking a little bit earlier about some weird shit in anti-gravity.
Okay, so yeah, the chevron is kind of like a flying V, like geese do.
Okay.
That's what the chevron.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, if you envision the formation's goose flying, that's kind of what they're going for here, is a chevron, quote unquote.
Just that V.
So it definitely moved a bit in the sky, making us think it might be a weather balloon, but it didn't have any apparent mass. And it had moved up in the skyline, but also side to side. The object was visible for at least an hour and a half, which is crazy. Yeah, that's a long time.
That is crazy.
It was gone when we checked again before going to bed around midnight. We were a group of rational smart, including an engineer, a future engineer, an ex-Air Force officer with no good explanation for what we were seeing. It was definitely not a celestial object.
Huh.
So you got some possibly credible people here.
Yeah, so people that actually might know what they're talking about when it comes to...
And an ex-Air Force officer.
So it's someone that knows aircrafts.
Yeah, you would think he would be like, oh, that's this, this, and this. And if he's sitting there kind of like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense.
So yeah, this one's a bit more credible than
this definitely...
Bertrude from the last one.
Let's see.
That's pretty wild.
So on these different pages, the National UFO Recording Center puts notes on here. We suspect a sighting of the star called Sirius is what they put on there.
Okay.
So potentially what they're seeing is a star. Witnesses elect to remain totally anonymous. Understandable.
Yeah.
One thing that I think me and Forrest can attest to after many, many different trips is we'll see something in the sky and we'll sit there and stare at it for a while and we're like thinking, oh my God, this is something. In reality, it's not.
Yeah, we're just so hyped up that we want to believe that we're seeing something
and we're so far away, it might look like it's moving, but remember, we are moving.
Just like there was that famous one where the cop he was chasing what he thought was UFO, and it turned out to be one of the planets.
Yeah.
Venus, whatever's visible, I'm not positive. But just, he was on a bumpy dirt road, so as he was bouncing, he's like, it's moving.
Right.
But it was just him moving.
Well, and I don't know about everyone else out there, or even Forrest here, but if I look at something in the distance for longer than 20 minutes, I'm like putting all my focus into it. It just kind of looks like it's jittering a little bit.
Yeah, it'll look like it's moving, especially when you want it to be moving so bad. You start to...
I think your mind kind of plays a small little trick on you, thinking, like,
definitely.
You're overthinking this now. Like, is it moving? But wait a second, I'm moving. I'm on planet Earth, so maybe everything's moving, or maybe I'm going fucking crazy. But yeah, I mean, maybe this is what they say, that we suspect it's a star called Sirius. Maybe makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's tough because
I mean, I still think though
we didn't see what they saw, so didn't say what they say.
If there's an ex-Air Force officer, you would think that he would know.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're looking southeast sky. You know, you would think they would know what's up there, right? I mean, who knows? Who knows? Yeah. I mean, if we can't get in contact with them, we can't see, we can't know what they're talking about.
If you're listening to this by some chance, episode 1, so we're not going to have a huge wide audience yet, but if you hear this and you were the one that saw this...
Yeah, you happen to be the one person in Maine, and you also happen to be the person who is the ex-Air Force officer. We want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Or the engineer. I like engineers. Engineering's fucking dope. We want to talk to you as well. So we'll do one more for tonight. This was earlier in the month of November as well.
Okay.
This was in Cornith, Monson. In between those two is what it says, in Maine. Let me get it pulled up here. This was on November 3rd. Bright changing colored lights behind tree line in Maine between Cornith and Monson, Maine, Route 15, approximately 4:45 a.m., dark outside, no moonlight. The sky lit up, so I looked to my left to see what I thought would be lightning. There was a bright blue light that switched to green, then red, and back to blue and green. The sky went from black again, the sky then went black again. This was beyond a field that lined the side of the road behind a distant tree line. I drive this road almost every morning at this time and have for the past 2 years. There has never been any lights or decorations anywhere to this effect.
Huh.
Interesting. So he is seeing, it's pitch black out, no moonlight, nothing. He churns, thinks it's lightning. That's pretty fucking bright.
So he saw a bright light that, got his attention.
Bright blue light, and then switched to green, which is interesting in itself. Then red.
That is weird.
Now, what I want to know is, while these colors are switching, is it really still that bright as like you thought it would be lightning?
Yeah, that is weird.
Then back to blue and green?
Huh.
That's a bright light.
Yeah, that is very bright, so...
Because, I've seen lightning in the sky, and it's pretty fucking bright. So if we're talking something that he recognizes lightning, that's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, this is definitely a strange one.
And then it went black again. So it was just a split second.
So yeah, just a quick, he saw this crazy lights, lit up the sky, and then just gone? Is that what it's saying?
Yeah, just gone. It was beyond a field, out of the side of the road, and he's been driving on the road for a long time. Interesting enough, this doesn't say anything about remaining anonymous. So
we may be able to contact
this guy and just see what he has to say. Because, this is recent, so it's still got to be on his mind, right?
Yeah.
When something like that happens, you don't just, forget about it.
Fuck yeah, you see something wild, it sticks with you. Like, we can remember all of our...
Yeah, all the times there was any wild shit, remember like it was yesterday.
It's weird, like, green. The green light seems to be, like, a common thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the one time I was up at Bear Lake, there was, I don't know, 4th of July or something, and there was the fireworks show was going. Alright, sorry guys, we're having some weird shit, so we're gonna take a quick break.
Technical difficulties.
Alright, we'll be back. Sorry to interrupt the story. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Having a little bit of technical difficulties. But get back to where I was saying, just talking about, I was at Bear Lake, and then there was had to have been like 4th of July, one of the holidays, but there was a fireworks show going on, and in the background of the fireworks show, there was this green light, and it would sit there for a second and jump around. At first, I thought it was one of those green laser pointers, but it was just, I don't know. It's something. It obviously could be something flare from the firework or something, but the way it was moving, it could almost seem it was definitely UFO, unidentified. But if it was like some sort of extraterrestrial something, maybe the fireworks show kind attracted to it. Maybe it was watching.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense too. I mean, it was something weird enough that you noticed it while watching fireworks.
Yeah, I was like, is that like this other guy saw it too, but I was like, what the fuck is that? And it was at first, first thing I thought was one of those green laser pointers, and I was like, that's definitely not. So,
well, and one of the things that a lot of people like link to UFO sites is, natural disasters.
That's weird. Yeah, kind of like the Mothman. We'll definitely have to do a podcast on that.
Oh yeah, Mothman's fucking dope.
Shows up at all natural disasters. It's weird.
But one of the things that a lot of people, and we live in a world now where me and Forrest aren't necessarily skeptics. Like we believe in a lot of things, but we want to debunk the fake.
For sure, we don't want to just be one of these people that like, it's a fact. It's a UFO. We want to prove that it's not. And last scenario, like, well, we don't know what the fuck that was. Maybe we were seeing something.
Kind of go through steps almost, like, could be this, could be this, could be this, could be this. After so many rational things, we don't fucking know what it is. It's unexplainable. But a lot of people are starting to see these weird things up
for sure
during natural disasters. Like there was the volcano eruption in Europe a couple of years ago. They saw tons of things they couldn't explain going on during, like, when all the ash was getting shot out. There was pictures of like weird objects in the ash, and
it's definitely strange.
Like for example, let's say if we as humans made it to a different planet where there was any type of civilization going on, maybe this is all hypothetical weird shit. But maybe after observing the humans don't want to say humans, but the life forms, for so long, maybe there's not much more to gain from it. Maybe the things that we find interesting are like what's happening on the planet.
Yeah, exactly. You see something weird, volcano eruption, fireworks, and
you're like, what is that?
Just start watching it like the rest of us, basically.
I mean, curiosity is the biggest thing ever, right? I mean, everyone's curious about something, so why can't potential other life forms have curiosity?
Exactly. Like, they've got to be some sort of similar to us. It's like, to a certain extent. Like,
right. Otherwise, they wouldn't be coming. Like, what's the point of going through space travel?
No, yeah, exactly.
Unless they need something.
Exactly.
It's either curiosity or needing something.
That's a scary thing, too. Like, I think it was Stephen Hawking that said, when he's talking about how all throughout human civilizations, we've, like, moved there and then taken over the current people that was there. Like, like here in America, take over the Native Americans, so it is scary to think that.
Yeah, it definitely is, because I mean, it's always, when is something going to show up that is more powerful and gain, and like they have something to gain by taking us over,
right? Like Tom DeLonge, if you guys listen to Joe Rogan's podcast, he was on there not too long ago. He was talking about just his company, all this stuff, but he was saying that there's multiple races or multiple different kinds of life, like extraterrestrials here, and they're basically having a turf battle for the planet, control the planet, kind of. So that's way wild to think about.
Yeah, and that goes down a whole other rabbit hole. It's, maybe we're just kind of small compared to everything else that's going on, which is possible.
I hope someday, like, we start getting some truth, find out if all this we want to believe in is actually there.
Right. And I mean, like I said earlier, I don't want to keep repeating myself. Like, we've seen stuff, but at the same time, I can't for sure in my mind. I still can't. Like, I still can't tell myself 100%.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm like 70%.
Same. We've seen some wild stuff that would convince most people, but it's still hard.
I think maybe having such an open mind is a blessing and a curse sometimes.
Exactly, yeah.
Because, there's that whole, I want to so bad, but I still haven't
Same.
had that like 100% like, oh well,
Right?
there it is.
Fuck.
You know, exactly. Like fuck. I mean, that's it. That's what's going on.
And then again, with a lot of people, do you tell everyone? I think that's people that have experiences and things similar to this. They're afraid to tell everyone. They're gonna be ostracized or like outcasts because.
Oh yeah.
So there's probably so much we haven't even heard about because people are afraid of what other people are gonna think.
Right, and it sucks that that is the case. Like we read,
Oh yeah.
we were listening to a podcast not too long ago about a city up in Canada, which I want to dive into in a different podcast fully. But basically, the gist of it is there for a year long there was alien activity, UFO activity in this area, and everyone was buying into it, like to the fact where like it was like a high school thing. Like you know how every place has like that high school hangout spot. This city had a high school hangout spot, and it was to see this UFO type object.
It was it sounded very similar to Close Encounters.
Yeah,
Where they all go hang out to wait for these lights to pass them
and it was like it was like it was no longer just like a oh well that might be something weird. Everyone just like in the city was like oh yeah that's this object. Like they just everyone saw it. But there was a point in time where someone said that this object may have killed a bunch of their livestock. And weirdly enough, instead of the people, like the rest of the city being like, oh, well, that's kind of fucked up, they went against these people who said their livestock was getting killed.
It's wild.
Like, it was just, like, we'll definitely talk about that because that piqued my interest more than
for sure.
almost anything I've read in the past couple of years. But, you know, it goes on with what Forrest is saying. How many people have seen or had these activities happen and they're just so afraid to get, you know, shit on by their peers, basically.
It's sad, but it happens all the time.
And I can relate to that kind of because, you know, living in a place where you're not necessarily religious, you kind of get shit on sometimes.
Yeah, like here, if you are not LDS, you're kind of an outcast. Like,
yeah, in a way.
Not as bad recently, like you were saying, but definitely years ago, like if you weren't LDS, you didn't want to tell people, like,
yeah,
like you don't want to tell people, hey, I don't believe in God or whatever, because
or even if you kind of just had your own beliefs that didn't go with anything, you just kind of you didn't want to talk about it because you just kind of get ostracized.
The judgment is it's awful.
Yeah, but it like we talked about, it's gotten a lot better over the years. Utah's definitely changing, thankfully.
Yeah, but that's kind of the reason we're doing this podcast here. So
just want to get the conversation started.
Yeah, even if you want to be anonymous, whatever, we want to hear your stories.
Yeah, even if it's something as small as I walked outside, you know, to smoke and saw this weird light and I couldn't explain it. We want to hear about it. We want to know what like your feelings were, what your emotions were. Did it make you rethink anything? Because that's something that me and Forrest are like definitely talk about, like the open-mindedness. Like when people see shit, does it change your way of thinking?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it should. Sometimes
definitely.
Maybe you need to start questioning.
Let us be your outlet.
Yeah, just
get it off your chest. Tell us.
Just come and talk to us. But what we're going to do is we're going to go into one more story up in Maine. I'm going to pull it up here and I'm going to read it. We'll talk about that. And then we're going to kind of close out the show for tonight. I mean, this is our first episode, kind of a pilot. We want to get all the tests out of the way. Check how it just, you know, make sure we're doing everything right. Let us know if there's anything we can improve on, anything that sounds weird. You know, let us know. We want to get better at this. And you're definitely going to be hearing a lot more from us.
Yeah, we're gonna come up with some sort of schedule. We'll let you guys know for sure. We're not positive on the release date. Maybe Sundays, Mondays. It just depends on what our setup recording date is. But by the next episode, our social media, we'll link it all. This will be posted to YouTube, but yeah, we'll let you guys know further after this.
Yeah, well, definitely. The thing we will promise you right now is, regardless of if 2 people watch this or 200 people watch this, we're gonna have some sort of set schedule we're going to do our 100% best to try and stick with.
Yeah, we will. I'm weekly. You think weekly?
Yeah,
it'll be. We'll someday each week we'll release an episode.
Yeah, and you know we're not, like you said, this is our pilot. We don't want to tell you, you know, we can't promise you if it's going to be a 20-minute podcast or a 3-hour podcast. We're just going to talk. We're going to open the conversation, and hopefully at some point maybe we might have some guests on. We might get other peers around us. We might have, we've talked a lot about trying to reach out to people who've had um, these weird incidents and try and get them on here on a Skype call and just talk to them and just, open that conversation.
And at some point, definitely we'll have video. So
yeah,
bear with us for the moment for if our audio's bad or not having video. It'll get better. Each episode will be better.
Yeah.
And hopefully within the next few months we'll have video.
Yeah.
You can see what's going on here in our studio.
Yeah, we definitely want to just progress as much as we can. I mean, we're just two guys who love talking and,
Figure maybe someone may want to hear our stories.
Yeah, maybe you want to hear some stories. Maybe you want to hear the shit that we talk about all the time.
So, yeah, we'll jump into this. Let's hear your main story, and then we'll finish it up.
So the last one here was November 3rd as well as the last one, which I thought was kind of interesting. This was in Rumford, Maine. Not sure if there's any correlation with the one previous, if those are close to each other or not. But let me get it pulled up. Shorter one here. My husband witnessed something sounding like the cylindrical craft mentioned in previous posts.
Okay.
He said it looked like a piece of culvert and slightly flew above the height and speed that a helicopter might travel.
So not too fast, but...
Yeah. So let's pull... So this is saying that it witnessed something similar to another post. Let me... Interesting. So yeah, there's multiple on here in October, November that kind of had that, they say it's quote unquote a chevron shape.
Yeah,
or like
so
we said, kind of like the flying goose shape. Yeah. Let me...
So yeah, maybe they saw the same thing.
Yeah, maybe there's multiple sightings. I mean, 11/3 and 11/3, those are both the same time. I don't know. That's interesting. I'll do one more here, and we'll close this out for tonight. This was in Robbinston on October 19th. Maybe this is what they're referring to. Formation of bright flashing lights viewed from Robinson, Maine. Object appeared to be hovering over North Brunswick. From our positions, flashing lights visible to the north-northeast, approximately 60 to 70 degrees ascension. Could only see lights arranged in chevron pattern. There's that chevron pattern again. Lights flashing were white, orange, red, interesting, and green.
Okay.
So there's green again. Appeared to be hovering over St. Stephen area of New Brunswick. Made rapid movements in a linear manner, but overall remaining in the same position. I have seen this formation phenomenon approximately 2 years ago in the exact same location.
Huh.
We watched it for at least 20 minutes through binoculars and returned about an hour later, and it was still there.
Huh,
So
that
this
is definitely weird.
Yeah, this object that is being seen, kind of.
So it seems like it was seen in multiple places. Is that what the previous one was saying? They saw the same thing as this?
Right. And that's kind of interesting. Maybe this object is coming back and forth and just kind of hanging out, because everyone's saying the same type of thing. Red colors, white colors, flashing, green. I mean, green's in all of them. This chevron shape as people...
Yeah.
I personally never heard that before tonight
neither.
as an object, but it makes
same.
perfect sense. Like a chevron.
Yeah.
You see that in a lot of...
Just a triangle without the lights at the bottom.
Right. So maybe there is something going on up there. I mean, who knows? It could be some sort of military craft that's being tested out in the ocean, something along those lines. But people are seeing it, not just one person.
Yeah, it's definitely weird.
And it's interesting, too, that it was approximately 2 years ago that they saw the same thing, which could mean that it's coming back.
Huh. Maybe one of these days we'll have to take a trip out there to Maine.
Oh, that would be awesome. Go out there and try and see if we can get our own investigation going.
Yeah, do a live podcast. Hey, what the fuck's going on?
Right, get some video, hang out with us. We'll cook some s'mores.
Oh,
that would
fuck
be
yeah,
live.
s'mores. That's always good.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Forrest is gonna tell you a little bit about where we're at and what we're trying to do, and then we'll go from there.
All right, guys. So what we're gonna do here is we'll post this up to YouTube, mainly YouTube right now, and then after that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a Patreon, So if you like what we're saying here, please sign up for Patreon. It'll help us make this podcast better, get better quality, some video. We'll just do a simple $1 a month, and we'll for you Patreon users, we'll do a bonus, at least one bonus episode a month. And as we get further down the line, we'll definitely have better bonuses for Patreon users. If we can get some merchandise up, we'll do discount for merchandise. Maybe we'll do I don't know, maybe the first certain amount of people that sign up for Patreon, maybe we'll throw some free merch at you guys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We have, outside of our interests in, like weird phenomenons, we also have an interest in designing really funny shit.
Yeah, so we'll get some good shit out there. Oh, the dildo spatula.
Is it gonna make a comeback?
Alright, yeah, so we'll make some t-shirts, something up, but yeah, if you guys like what we're saying, sign up for Patreon right now. It'd be great. Simple $1 a month. That's how much, like.
Yeah, we'll give you the bonus.
You can find $1 in your couch.
Yeah, easily. I find $1 fucking anywhere I go sometimes. But
yeah.
I mean, we're gonna give you at least a unique podcast every single month.
At least one for sure.
For the starting out.
For a simple $1.
And I promise you this, that if this goes past a point of, where we're actually having people listen in and enjoying our content, we're going to be doing a lot more.
Oh, for sure. So your Patreon is not necessarily to help us. It's just to help you get a better quality podcast, some video.
Right. And for the longest time, anything we make from doing this is going to go right back into the podcast.
Sure.
I don't want you guys to get misconstrued here. We're asking for $1. We're not going to pocket that $1. We're not going to go buy more beer with that $1. Don't worry about it. We want to make our podcast into a huge thing. We want to be doing this for our jobs. Like we want this to be something amazing.
We want this to be something that everyone enjoys. Like,
right.
Get something out there for you guys. Join us. Hear some weird shit we find on the internet each week. And so, yeah, if you guys could do that, that'd be great. If not, no hard feelings.
Yeah.
Listen to us on YouTube.
Yeah, come and catch us anyways. We still want you to listen in.
We enjoy our views. So, thank you, everyone. And
yeah, thank you for listening. This is the Topshelfers Podcast. We'll definitely see you next week.
All right. Good night, guys.